Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Inner Harbor Cast, part of the Community Connection, all part of Inner Harbor Media. My name is Skip Clark. Of course, I'm on air with the Wolf, but pulling these podcasts together and having some great guests. For example, today, I'm loving this. I love the whole story behind this. You may have seen it in the news recently. You may have heard it on the news recently, but Henry Brigham is with me. Henry is the founder of Devin's Rec Room. Henry, welcome to the podcast. It's good to see you, my friend. Can you let's get right into it. I got my list of questions. Can you tell us about the inspiration behind starting Devin's Rec Room and what motivated you to create a space specifically focused on recovery and fitness?
Right. So I've been in recovery myself 32 years now. Unfortunately, back in 2001, my son Devin uh, passed away from a heroin overdose, and he was little less than a month after his 18th birthday.
Oh, my Lord.
So I always knew since then that we were going to do something in this space, and just didn't know what it was. And as I say, it's on God's time, not mine.
Mhm.
So I started working out, 10 years ago, 12 years ago now. And I realized how much work, physical fitness really helped me with my recovery, even though I'd been in recovery 20 years by then. I still realized it really, really helped me with my mindset and my daily living. Not only just the regular health aspect, but like I said, the mental part of it.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
And shortly after that, we learned of a place in Rochester called Recovery Fitness,
Okay.
and they're modeled after a national organization called the Phoenix. And my wife and I, Barbara, went on out. We visited them, spent a day with them. They were going to come into town. They decided not to branch out into Syracuse. And since then, three other organizations in upstate New York, one in Albany, one in the Adirondacks, and one down in Southern Tier, all opened up with the same type of model, if you will. It's sober, active recovery. And so 5 years ago, we started doing hikes, decided to bring the concept to Syracuse, and started doing hikes. It grew. People were liking it, but they were all saying, we really want something indoors. I mean, the winters have been known not to be the best in central New York.
Don't we know that?
so,
Absolutely.
so we started looking for a spot, and it took us a few years. Unfortunately, we did run across, there's a lot of stigma about recovery and people who used to use drugs and alcohol and things like that. Unfortunately, the stigma is still out there. So we were looking for a spot, couldn't find it. And then last year, Onondaga County was good enough we applied for a grant.
Mhm.
They were good enough to give us a grant, which allowed us to get a space over on Butternut Street. And we're going to have our grand opening this month on the 27th. It's a Thursday from 10 to 1. We'll have our grand opening. And the following Saturday, the 29th, will be an open house. Anybody can come on in, just check it on out. But we're free to people in recovery.
So you talk about you've been through a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about you for just a moment?
Sure.
Can we take it back? When you say
I'm not good at that, but I'll try.
No,
Yeah.
but I mean, you went through recovery.
Yes.
You've done that. Was it drugs? Was it alcohol?
With me, it was both.
both.
It was alcohol. My drug of choice at the time, my major drug of choice was cocaine. And so I came home one day, and my wife by my second marriage, Devin was by my first marriage. Second marriage, walked out the door with my daughter and said, I may or may not be back. You need to decide what you're going to do. And I did not want to lose a second family. And so I started going to AA meetings, and this time it stuck.
Good for you. And here you are.
Thank you.
Here you are.
Here I am.
Now, so the gym obviously is named after Devin.
Yes.
And how has his memory influenced your work and the mission of the facility? You said it's about a rehab and all that, and
Yeah.
heroin addiction. But
Yeah, ours is we're not treatment at all. So we're for people with at least 48 hours of continuous sobriety. So it's for people that are in consider themselves in recovery. And Devin, he was a football player. He was a lacrosse player. He was a musician, percussionist. He was just full of life. And unfortunately, he made some wrong decisions for some right reasons, like kids that age do.
yeah, they follow
And
each other sometimes.
yeah,
Not
and he
necessarily a good thing.
got mixed up with some older people that he shouldn't have been mixed up with. But and it happens, unfortunately, to the best people.
And we have the best people like yourself that's keeping keeping it all alive and helping others. Now to get into the gym, to belong to the gym, I was
Mhm.
reading that you have a 48-hour sobriety requirement. Can you tell
Mhm.
me a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's modeled, like I said, we're modeled after those four other agencies, and they ask for the same requirement. It's 48 hours of continuous sobriety. And people ask me how are you sure? How do you know that people have done that?
Mhm.
And I make them pinky swear. So that's about
Yeah.
it. That's about it. You have to take people at their word, and it becomes obvious, if they're not. And but we're there for people. Having that as the only requirement is we're trying to remove all of the barriers for people to get healthy. We actually, our programs are modeled around the 8 dimensions of wellness.
Mhm.
And so uh, we're going to program around that. It's not just physical fitness; it's emotional, it's mental, it's financial, all of that. And so when we get up, when we get going, we'll be looking for volunteers to come on in and have different seminars and stuff for people.
So all that plays a role. You mentioned about the eight different things, but they're all connected.
Yes,
Because if you don't work out, if you don't walk, you don't get any sort of fitness. I mean, you're going to be down in the dumps. That's the way I look at it, and that's just going to lead to other issues. But working out puts you in a good mindset. It makes you think, yeah, I feel good. This is the best thing for me. I don't need to do whatever and wherever and whenever, however. But yeah,
right,
and I
yeah.
can see you're pretty fit. So
Not as fit as I'd like to be. This has taken a lot of my time, but I'm
yeah.
hoping now that we're getting open, I'm going to be back to it a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, uh, if people think about it, they go into a gym. The heaviest door in the gyms, or the heaviest weight in the gym's the front door.
Yeah.
So once you get in there, that's all the battle almost.
So I
And
never thought of it that way. So true.
yeah,
So true.
and when you leave, everybody's got a smile on their face. The fitness works on the same neuroreceptors and endorphins and everything as addiction does, and it's just a lot better for you.
I see that. I know. When it comes to Devin, did you know he was going down a wrong path, or did it come across as a parent that it was too late by the time you found out, or how was that?
Yeah,
So maybe there's another parent that's listening or watching this.
yeah.
What were the signs? How
That
did you know?
that's a great question. So we Devin lived with his mom, and he came to live with us, and um, he was a kid, I think it was 15 at the time, and he started smoking pot, and he I recognized the signs because I had done it when I was growing up,
Sure.
and so my I remember I was kind of strict, and he came upstairs one day from the cellar. I wouldn't let him go to a party or something like that, and he said, I hate living here because I don't can't get away with anything because I was strict. And then he kind of smiled at me and gave me a hug. And but yeah, I mean, I did. My wife and I tried the tough love. We tried the love. We tried the understanding. We tried to talk. We tried the counselors. We tried just about everything that we could, and it still didn't work. He ended up back then. You could emancipate yourself when you were 16 years old, and that's what he did. And he went to his girlfriend at the time. Did not. have a great home life. And we got a note on our door: Dad, I promise to stay off drugs and in school, but I have to go help my girlfriend. And so he declared himself emancipated, and that's what happened. He moved to Geneva and tried to take care of her.
It's a parent's worst nightmare what you've been through, and you're not the only one. I
Right.
mean, there's other parents
No.
too, and obviously I don't know if that you have a network that you kind of all chat about this issue
You
or
know,
what, but
I don't belong to a network like that, but yeah, it's the club that nobody wants to belong to.
absolutely, I can
And
understand
yeah,
that. Absolutely. How was the don't mean to reach deep into this, but it
no, that's
just
fine.
I'm really curious. You get the phone call
Mhm.
that Devin is at the hospital or wherever because of the overdose. What's going through your mind? What I mean, just you get there. I don't know if they called and told you that he had
Mhm.
passed or if you were there when that
Mhm.
happened. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, if you don't mind too much detail, I'll be willing to share the story. It's we
Absolutely.
got the call that his initially his girlfriend had called me in January and said that he had been trying heroin. And so his birthday is April 23rd. And so we got in the car. I called his mom and his stepdad, and we all went to Geneva. We found him. We tried to talk him to get in the car. He wouldn't get in the car. He was a big kid. He was 17 then, and 6 foot something, and he was high then, and couldn't get him in the car. Talked several times to him after that. The last time I talked to him was on his birthday, and I said, "Let me come get you. No judgment,
Mhm.
no anything. We'll get you some help." And he said, "Dad, I told you that I'm not doing that. I just tried it. I'm not that stupid." And of course, I didn't believe him, and I told him that I said, "I hope you're telling me the truth. My fear is you're not." We got the call 3 weeks after that, and that he was in the hospital. The story is he was at his pusher's house. He went down. His pusher lived around the corner from the hospital in Geneva. He called several of my son's friends to come dump his body, but he wasn't dead. So one of his friends said, "No, we're going to come and we're going to take him to the hospital. You're literally right around the corner." So they put him in the car. They took him to the hospital. Someone went and got a wheelchair. They put him in a wheelchair. An orderly came out of the doors, and they all hopped in the car and ran. And he fell flat on his face on the sidewalk in front of the hospital. Um, they literally dumped him like a pile of garbage, and he never resumed uh, consciousness after that. They took him to Strong Memorial in Rochester.
One of the best.
Yeah, and the doctor said there was nothing they could do. He had been without oxygen for so long. So that's what's so great about Narcan now is that if they had Narcan back in 2001, he probably would
Probably.
still be
He could
alive.
be sitting here with us telling
Correct.
his story.
Right.
Absolutely. Wow, Henry.
So yeah, we had to take him off of life support in the hospital, and I held his hand as he passed. So yeah,
Wow. You're a strong man.
no,
But
thank you.
now God has got you here doing what you're doing for a reason. And I'm sure Devin is looking down on us. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience? How crucial is long term support for people in recovery? What role do places like Devin's Rec Room play in that support system?
You know, it's right now we most of the money in Albany, the opiate settlement funds they have, and
Mhm,
we were
mhm.
blessed to be able to get some of that to open Devin's Rec Room, but only 6% in 2023 went to people in recovery. The most of it went to prevention and treatment. Now, the way I look at it, there's prevention, there's treatment, and recovery.
Recovery.
So, and prevention and treatment are very needed. Don't get me wrong. There's awesome nonprofits in town that
Absolutely.
do that, and it's very, very needed. But it's only 6%, it occurred to us that, we help them win. The way I describe it is we help them win the battle and get sober, but we don't help them win the war, which is the rest of their lives.
Absolutely, 100%.
We were unloading the truck of equipment. This reminds me of that this week. And as we were on the street in Butternut Street, a person came downstairs that lived upstairs, and she said, Now, are you with that place down the street?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, and she said, I've tried quitting and I can't. I don't have any." She goes, "I went to rehab, and but I don't have any family. I don't have any friends here." She says, "I have nobody." And she just started crying. And it's amazing that that's what people need. They need the support.
I mean, right there, that story of that woman coming down and talking to you means you are getting the support. People do want to do something. I was going to ask you how the community, I know you're just getting started,
Mhm.
but from what I've heard, the news and what I've read online and stuff, it sounds like there's so many people behind you. You're getting the support that you need.
We have been so blessed, and I mean that with this community. Everyone we've talked to is 100% behind us, and they're helping. We're always going to, obviously, getting open is one thing, but staying open
Is
is
another.
something else. So we're gonna. We've got a lot of things coming up for that, but we've been very blessed from vendors to communities to other
I
not-for-profits.
was going to ask you about that, that if you are working with others to maybe direct people your way that need this assistance, I sure you have Devin's Rec Room, but with a hospital, once somebody's on the road to recovery, say now, you need to go and check out Devin's
Well,
Rec Room.
that's our hope. Our hope
Okay.
is we're very collaborative. That person I spoke of earlier that we met on the street, we asked her to come on down because she has to take the first steps. And we said, "Come on down, and we'll refer you out." And we're hoping that people refer their members back to us.
Now, is there a way that the community can get involved even more? Can they make a donation? Can they come down and say, "Hey, Henry, I saw this on the podcast, or I heard it online, I heard it on the radio"? Is there a way that you can get, like, do you want volunteers? Do you want people to come in, maybe work the desk? I don't know how that works. What are you
Um,
looking for?
yes to all of the above. How's that?
Okay, I love it.
So they can call our numbers 315
Mhm.
498 5111, and they can call us. But we have our signature walk, Never Walk Alone, is going to be up at Onondaga Park. I believe it's June 7th.
Okay.
And that is it's just a walk to show people in recovery their support. And you bring whatever pet that you have, because we call it Never Walk Alone, because pets are very important to a lot of people in recovery. We
That
don't
I
care if
know.
it's a dog or cat. Last year we had a duck show up, which was awesome. And what people don't talk enough about is how awesome recovery is. I wouldn't have my life right now if it wasn't for recovery. Recovery's fun. It's beautiful. And yeah, we'll take anybody, and just call that number, ask for me.
Every day when you walk through that door, what's that feeling? When
Uh
you open that door that weighs so much for others,
mm,
when you walk in, what are you feeling?
Blessed. Honestly, I have a strong faith. And Devin's pictures in the hallway, hanging right outside my office. And I just y- look on up. I give him a smile and pat the picture and say, it's another day. So
You're so strong. It's a Henry Brigham, who's the founder of Devin's Rec Room, which is up on Butternut, you said.
eh,
I don't, is there a website or
yes.
something where they can go and check this out now?
Well, yes, I'm going to
Or it's
correct
being built?
myself, and you'll understand why. It
Okay.
is the number is 498-1115, not 511, because our address is 511 Butternut Street.
Gotcha.
So I flip them, so I apologize.
Oh, that's okay.
And I'm sorry, what was the question?
I was, oh my God, you blew my mind. I don't know. I forgot what I asked. Producer Steve, what was that question? And see,
All right,
but it was a
sorry.
good one. We know
Right,
it was a
yeah,
good one.
it was.
But I did ask, how it is when you walk through that door, but you gave me a good answer to that. You're very strong, and to come in and tell your story. And I kind of wonder, if you don't mind me
Mhm.
asking here, you've been very open, and if you don't want to answer the question, that's fine. I totally respect that, and I get it. But you going back to what you went through at a period of time, do you think that's part of, maybe a slight part of the reason that Devin might have kind of wandered off, because dad was doing some.
It could be. He also said I was a lot more fun when I was drinking and drugging, but but yeah, I believe that there is a hereditary piece to addiction, and I believe he got our genes. I'm one of a long list of Brighams that have had problems with addictions.
Henry, I want to say thank you. Thank
Well,
you for
thank you.
coming by today. Thank you for chatting with us. Thank you for opening up. It's got to be a very difficult thing to talk about, but you seem so strong. And I think, you're going, yeah, Devin, he's watching
Yeah.
this whole thing right now, the recording of this. And he probably knows the answer to the question that I asked, or what the question was. But anyways, I do want to say thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for telling your story. And, we're going to be there for you. If we can assist in any of the events coming up, you need to reach out, because we'll be there in a moment's notice.
Well, thank you. I will. I appreciate you having
This
me.
is something that everybody needs to hear. This is something that everybody needs to realize. They need to know it's there. They need to help. I mean, we look at the world the way it is today, and so many people are just going in so many different directions. And I think their mind is wandering a lot as well. A lot of evil is going on. So, but thank you for doing what you're doing. God bless you, my friend. Thank you for being here on the Inner Harbor Cast and the Community Involvement Calendar Connection.
Okay.
Dude,
Thank you.
I